2. Howdy, this is Jake with Green Pro. Comparing again a treatment plant to a conventional septic system. This is part 2. We've talked about how this particular unit that we install is treating this wastewater to 98.8% pure. From there, we have to get rid of that water. The state of Mississippi says that the water that's generated from this system has to stay on the property of the generator. Sometimes that's more difficult than others, and we'll talk about why certain discharges are for smaller or bigger pieces of property. The first and the most easy is overland discharge. First, we've got to cover chlorine, so we go through a chlorine tablet, which we do sell at Green Pro if those are not commonly available and close to you. Overland discharge is exactly what it says. It discharges the water overland. This can be done with 1 point, so it flows through one pipe and just comes out on the ground. This is going to be your highest number. Sometimes the states will give you a number as high as 300 feet from the end of this pipe to your property line. If you do a 2-point manifold system, this number can get cut in half to 150. And again, if you do a 4-point, this number can get cut in half again and go to 75 feet. So a lot of times we'll split the flow of this water into multiple different ways in order to accommodate to a closer property line in order to meet those specifications from the permit that we've obtained from the State Department of Health. The other popular type of system, when these parameters cannot get met, or you're having to pump uphill past the back of the house, imagine a big hill behind the back of the house, and no other place to go with the water than up, we will come out of this tank and go into another tank, approximately 400 gallons, with a pump that will turn on when this tank gets full, uses a float, so when water comes in, the tank fills up, and it makes this float up. It connects the electronic switch, it turns the pump on, it cuts off when the water's pumped out. The water comes out of this into a spray field. The minimum requirement of spray heads is 3 for the state of Mississippi, and it depends on the number that they give us. Sometimes they'll give us a number as high as 5,500 square feet. We've seen numbers as high as 13, 14, or even 18,000 square feet of spray. This will dictate how many spray heads we need. A typical system's only going to use 3. These spray heads look just like your spray irrigation. The small, a lot of times made by a company called Rainbird, with a purple top on them in order to designate that this is reclaimed or wastewater you don't want to be playing in when the sprinklers come on. When this pump kicks on, these heads are going to pop up and they're going to spray this water out in a pattern. The typical is about a 30-foot radius, so you're looking at these heads being somewhere around 60 feet apart from each other, and they're going to spray this water out very fine. Now these spray heads and the edge of this spray field must only be 15 feet from the property line. So you can see why that's a lot more attractive for a system to span that water out over a smaller piece of property down to 3/4 of an acre, 1 acre, where we can get a typical 2 or 3 bedroom home onto a small size lot. Let's pretend for a second though that you don't have a 2 or 3 bedroom home on a small lot. You have a 5 or 6 bedroom home on a half-acre lot. Sometimes the state says this isn't going to work and this isn't going to work because we can't meet these setbacks from these property lines. And so we're going to get down into a very complicated system called a drip. The part 3 of this video is going to cover what a drip system is and why.